When I was here 6 years ago, I thought I'm late. Bali is, the hype is gone, but this is a new hype.
I was very skeptical at first because in the Netherlands there's this stigma around Bali that it's like
I don't know why Bali's been the spot everyone's chose to come, but
it's completely changed my lifestyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the past few years, Bali has been the hot spot for digital nomads. But is it still the case now? Is Bali still relevant? Let's find out. Where are you from and how long have you been in Bali?
I'm from Germany. I've been here since February this year.
What brought you to Bali in the first place?
Well, actually, I wanted to go to Thailand, and then my friends were here in Bali. And when I came here, I was like, the gym culture and the general lifestyle and the communities is just so crazy. And then I didn't want to go to Thailand anymore because I've been a lot of times to Thailand. And last time I've been to Bali was like 6 years ago. So a lot of things changed, and I would never have imagined that I like it so much because 6 years ago it wasn't like that.
So whatever in Bali made you stay?
Well, yeah, the gym cultures, the ice baths, the sauna, the restaurants, the lifestyle, the friendliness of the people. Like everybody smiles at you always, and it encourages you to smile at people as well and be nice. And it's always like everybody gives that back. So it's like a positive energy cycle, and that's I think my favorite part about Bali.
Do you mind if I ask you, what do you do?
Well, that's a secret actually. I'm not I'm not disclosing that, but
Do you consider yourself a digital nomad?
yeah, I'm a digital nomad. I'm working online, so I'm working from my computer.
But it's a secret. Yeah, it's the map.
Well, actually, it's not really a secret. It's nothing fishy or anything. It's just like it's a running gag, and I have to keep that running gag alive, so no one really knows what I do for a living.
What makes Bali a great place for nomads like you?
I think it's a community. Like you have so much growth potential, so many opportunities, so many like-minded people. Back home, everybody goes a different traditional path, and here everybody just sees at opportunity everywhere, and it's a growth network where people just elevate each other. Also, it's like the lifestyle because you can go out every night, you have the beautiful nature all around you, and also you save a lot of time not cleaning your apartment, not doing your laundry, not cooking food, not cleaning your food, because everything is taken care of and it's pretty cheap to pay for that service.
Could you compare how much do you spend here versus you make the difference?
It's around 1/3.
Do you think that's cheap compared to other places?
I think it's cheap, yeah, especially when it comes to how much you get from that. Because if I spent the same money in Europe, it's not the same lifestyle, you know. I would have to spend 3 times the amount that I spend here in Europe to have the same level of comfort.
Before coming to Bali, have you been to other places in the world as a nomad?
Yeah, for sure, like a lot of places.
Yeah. And how do you compare those places with Bali?
I think the friendliness of the people is a huge difference to other places. And then the communities, for sure. Because let's say you go to Thailand, you have communities, but it's not as strong as here. And then, for example, Mexico, you also have beautiful nature, culture, all of those things, but it's just a very different crowd. So the people are very different, and here is a lot of Europeans, and all the people that coming together, they are like similar in a lot of ways.
Has living in Bali changed your lifestyle?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's very hard to work 8 hours a day here. Like, it's really hard. So most people consider 4 hours a day like a full day of working. And then I've been going out way too much because I'm not really a party guy, but I turned into a party guy going out every night. But this is ending now, so I'm not gonna do this again. Eating out 3 times a day, I'm not used to that in Europe. Usually I cook for myself. So you have a lot of spare time. That's the main difference here.
I mean, this Bali as a digital hub, it's become a hotspot, getting more popular, right, these days. And many people came here. Do you think it's still worth it to live here in the near future?
For now, I really believe Bali has a lot of potential in the next 5 years. When I was here 6 years ago, I thought I'm late. Bali is, the hype is gone. But this is a new hype, and I think it has mostly to do with the wellness and the gyms, you know, the ice baths, all the routine you have here. So actually, I still believe that there is a lot of potential even for investing, real estate, everything.
New hype.
New hype, yeah, for sure. I think it's continuing, especially because other places are getting worse. So, you know, for me, Bali is like a utopia. I don't even care about politics here. I don't read the news. I'm living in a bubble. Like, it's a very bubbly lifestyle here.
Do you think that's good for you?
Totally. I mean, you just have to be aware and that you're kind of living in a bubble and not become completely ignorant. But as long as I can live in this bubble, I'm happy, because for me it's like Garden Eden, basically, you know, like this is paradise. Yes.
So Bali is still paradise even now.
For sure. I mean, there is a lot of construction, but on the other hand, everybody wants to live in a villa. So how can you complain about construction if you want to live in a villa? And then also the places that are coming up, like new gyms and restaurants, they are amazing. So as long as those places are nice and the Bali stays like it is, I don't have a problem with more construction, to be honest.
Last question. As a digital nomad, do you like to integrate with the local society?
For now, I want to live here long term. So learning some Bahasa would make sense for sure. It makes a lot of things easier and getting an Indonesian bank account, all of those kind of things. But in general, when I'm not fluent in a language, I'm hesitant to speak it, you know? So I rather stick to English until I really can speak the language. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Where are you from and how long have you been in Bali?
So I'm from Scotland in the UK, and I've been in Bali for about 7 months now. Yeah, long time.
What brought you to Bali in the first place?
I travelled Bali for a month before, and I just fell in love with it, and I knew I wanted to come back and live here. So this year I just bought a one-way ticket and I flew out to Bali, and I've been here ever since.
Do you mind if I ask you, what do you do here?
Yeah, so I'm a women's online lifestyle coach. So I've got a business where we do women's exercise, nutrition and mindset, and we specialise a lot in women's eating disorders, so we help them overcome that.
Do you consider yourself a nomad, digital nomad?
What does that actually mean?
Like working remotely from anywhere in the world?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm all online.
Now you've been here for 7 months, working remotely. What do you think makes Bali a great place for nomads like you?
There's a lot of opportunities and a lot of networking out here, and a lot of people doing the same stuff that you're doing, and you're surrounded by the same people, like working out, working on their business and just wanting to be better in life, and being surrounded like that helps you grow and helps your business grow as well.
The environment, similar people.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know why Bali's been the spot everyone's chose to come, but it is the spot where everyone comes to grow, I think.
How has living in Bali changed your lifestyle?
It's made me nice and tanned. No, it's changed everything about my lifestyle. It's just moving away from my hometown and being in a new environment and a new culture has just exposed me to so much more like the world's got to offer, and just how different our cultures are. It's made you really think about the different in everything.
Can you tell me a bit roughly in comparison how much you make versus you spend here, like maybe 1/3?
I probably spend about 1/10 of my wage a month here.
10.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah, very cheap compared to the UK.
That's one reason you stay here.
Yeah. Nah, I wouldn't say that's the main reason though. That's just a benefit.
Last question. What's your future plan? Do you want to stay here long term or what?
I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm doing. My plan right now, I'm not thinking of leaving anytime soon. So I'll probably be here for the next couple of years. But I'm just going to go with the flow.
Okay. You have anything left you want to say?
I often see online them promoting it looking like very luxury all the time. But they need to remember to include the bits of Bali that you don't see behind the scenes, like the construction or the locals who don't have as much. And it's including all of that in the culture as well, because I think that's a massive part of Bali that social media tends to miss out, but it's so important and it makes Bali Bali.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Where are you from and how long have you been in Bali?
Well, I'm from the Netherlands, so Belanda, you would say. And since the 13th of September, so 3 weeks,
How long are you staying for?
I think like 1 more month.
What brought you to Bali in the first place?
I was just looking to change my scenery for a while. So I'm not just to Bali, I just came to Southeast Asia in general, and I thought this would be like a good place to have the stability of working and then see from here like how I like it.
So do you consider yourself as a digital nomad?
Well, it's funny because I don't like the word digital nomad. I don't know why. I just work remotely. Of course, it's the same thing, but I don't consider myself a digital nomad. I just work in a different country.
So what do you call yourself then?
Oh, that's a good question. Many names. I would say a creator and just like an entrepreneur.
What do you think makes Bali attractive?
Yeah, so for me, one of the main reasons to start here was just the fact that there are many others that do similar things. And that's also the main benefit that I got in my first 3 weeks. So like I'm in a co-working space and everyone is working on their own projects. And I just get so many like little unlocks from all the ideas, what they are doing and how I can tweak them into what I'm doing. So I think the fact that there are many of us or many people that think alike, that just gives me like new ideas.
Could you compare Bali as a digital hub to other places in the world you have been to?
I haven't been to that many, but I lived in Madrid for quite a while. I would say it's different. Like here, like many people are doing their own business or like self-employed or freelancing or whatever, more so than when I was in Madrid. But I haven't been to many. I'm going to Thailand and some other places to check, but I can't yet answer your question.
3 weeks you've been here. Do you think is Bali still a good place for digital nomads? Would you still recommend them to come here?
I was very skeptical at first because in the Netherlands, there's this stigma around Bali that it's like all these slick guys, like super muscular and then selling some kind of course that's not really worth it. Like this is the image that is portrayed on Bali. So I was really skeptical, but then it's not that bad. Like I actually think it's quite good. Like all the ideas I've got, of course, there's people doing things I don't fully agree with. And then there's people that I take a lot of inspiration from. For me, it wouldn't be a place to like live long term, because then I like more of like a city like Madrid, but a place to just be for 2 months and like take ideas and inspiration. For that, I think it's really good. I'm surprised, like every time I've been moving a bit over the last few years. So I lived in Australia, Spain, and then now here. And every time I'm more surprised by just changing people that you surround yourself with and then the new ideas that come from it. Like I spent a lot of time with Kumar, a Malaysian businessman, 40 years old. And we had like dinner like 6-7 nights in a row. And just all the ideas he gave me, like these are things that are just like priceless and super nice, and they're easy to find here.
I forgot to ask, but what do you do?
So I help people think clearer about themselves, so help people to get to know themselves. So earlier this year I wrote a book, and then I post content on my Instagram, We Think Deeply. Yeah, and people look at my questions, try to answer them, and then gain knowledge about themselves, and by that make better choices for the future. At least that's the goal.
Thank you very much,
so much
for your story.
and good luck.
Where are you from?
I'm from South Africa. I've been here for 4 months.
What brought you to Bali?
I came here on holiday last year and I just fell in love with how it made me feel. So I decided I wanted to live here.
What do you do?
I'm a copywriter, so I work in advertising and I work online.
So you consider yourself a digital nomad?
Yes.
What makes Bali a great place for nomads like you?
I think there's just, specifically in Canggu, there's an energy. There's a lot of like digital nomads here. So it kind of just, it helps you find the motivation to work, but it's also, you get the best of both worlds. You get to do your job and live this amazing lifestyle on this island paradise.
Have you tried to live as a nomad in other countries too?
No. Bali's the place that gave me the courage to try it.
Where did you live before?
I lived in South Africa.
How would you compare living in Bali versus in South Africa? Like the biggest difference?
For me, the biggest difference is that I feel safe in Bali and I have electricity all the time. Yeah. So South Africa's got some problems, lots of crime and lots of sort of infrastructure and energy supply issues. So yeah, Bali's just, it's a much freer lifestyle.
Could you compare roughly how much you make and versus how much you spend here?
So if it keeps going the way it should, then I will probably be able to make enough money in this 1 month to pay for like 2 months of living in Bali, if that makes sense. So it's possible to make a fair amount of money in comparison to how much you're spending, like more money.
How much do you spend roughly in a month? Like everything?
30,000 Rand would be South African Rand. But I don't work as many hours as I kind of should in terms of how much money I need to make. So I try to make the most of the time outside of work to kind of just enrich my life as much as I can. And this is a great place to do that.
How has living in Bali affected your lifestyle?
It's completely changed my lifestyle. I think when I was in South Africa, I mostly, because I've always, since COVID, I've done remote working and I never really left the house. Now that I'm in Bali, I like to go to co-working spaces. I mean, we've recently moved to a villa, so like it's nice to work in the villa, but I always leave the house at least once a day and go on some sort of adventure, go to the beach, go and do yoga, you know, just explore. And I think that from that aspect, it's been amazing and I've met the most interesting people. I party a lot more here. It's just, my life's better, I'm going to be honest.
This nomad thing has been happening for a while, right?
Yes,
Would you still recommend people to live here?
I mean, I would recommend it from the point of view that I think it's a great experience. But I would say don't come because it's getting full and we need the space. But I mean, it's definitely, I think, worth doing at least for a little bit, you know, just for the experience.
Not longer
It's not for
term.
everyone though. It depends. I could do it forever.
Thank you very much for your time. Channel.